Welcome to class today. Today we're going to be factoring polynomials that are in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. This is section 9.6 in your textbook. Yes, the only difference between today and yesterday is that we now have a value in front of our x squared term. Okay, so here's an example problem. It says factor 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Okay, so similar to yesterday, you can use kind of our guess and check method, or you can use our area of rectangles model. Okay, so first thing I'm looking at is how do I get 2x squared? Okay, well, there's only one way to do that. I'm going to multiply 2x times x. Okay, the next step is to look at my c value, positive 3. So to get positive 3, I either need to multiply a positive 3 times a positive 1 or a negative 3 times a negative 1. Okay, looking at this middle term, this 7x has a negative in front of it. So that tells me that it has to be negative 3 and negative 1. Okay, so I'm looking at my two other spots and I need to figure out if I'm going to put the 3 with the 2x or the 3 with the x. Well, I need it to be negative 7x. So if I put the negative 3 so that it gets multiplied by the 2x, I'm going to get negative 6x. If I put the negative 1 here, I'm going to get negative 1x. So just to show that, 2x times x would give me 2x squared. Okay, using FOIL, 2x times negative 3 gives me negative 6x. And negative 1 times x would give me negative 1x. These two middle terms would combine to give me that negative 7x, which is what I was looking for. And negative 1 times negative 3 would give me positive 3. Okay, that gives me my original polynomial that I started with. Okay, looking at a different example. Now I'm factoring 3n squared plus 14n minus 5. Okay, so I know that 3n times n will give me the n squared. Okay, looking at my c value, it's a negative 5, so I know that I have to multiply a negative times a positive to get a negative. It's going to have to be 5 and 1. Those are the only two numbers that make negative 5. Okay, this middle term is positive 14n, so I know I want something fairly big to end up in my middle term. Okay, and I need it to be positive, so that's going to tell me to put the positive 5 with the 3n. That's going to give me 15n. And then the negative 1 will subtract 1n from that 15n to give me positive 14n. All right, what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to try these three problems on your own. So pause the video, try these three problems, and then the solutions are on the next page. Here are the solutions for the three problems you just did. Okay, our next set of problems is going to be when the a term is negative. Okay, I don't really want to work with that negative inside my parentheses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor that negative out. Okay, negative 1 would come out of each of those numbers. So negative 1 times what gives me negative 4x squared? That'd be positive 4x squared. Negative 1 times negative 12x would give me positive 12x squared. And negative 1 times negative 7 would give me positive 7. So that way I don't have to work with a negative in front of my a value. And then this negative is just going to hang out in front of my factored expression. Okay, so now I'm just looking in the middle. I don't have to worry about that negative on the outside. Okay, well, we've got two different things that could give me 4x squared. That's either 4x and x or 2x and 2x. Okay, so this is just kind of a guessing game. Okay, so let's say I want to try 2x times 2x is going to give me 4x squared. Okay, well, the only way to get 7 would to be 7 and 1, and it's negative, so it'd have to be negative 7 and negative 1. So let's see if that works. Negative 7 and positive 1. Okay, well, 2x times negative 7 would give me negative 14x. Just looking at the middle terms here. And 1 and 2x would give me positive 2x. And lucky me, I guessed right. That's going to give me that negative 12x squared, or 12x that I was looking for. The 2x times the 2x would give me the 4x squared. And then lastly, negative 7 and 1 would give me negative 7. And then if I factor my negative through from the beginning, that would change all these signs to their opposites, which gives me the original expression. Okay, so same thing as before. I would like you to pause the video right now, try these 3 problems out, and the solutions will be on the next page. Don't forget to factor that negative out. Here are the solutions. Okay, and we're going to do one word problem. So here's our word problem. It says a rectangle's length is 13 meters more than 3 times its width. The area is 10 square meters. What is the width? Okay, so a rectangle's length is 13 meters more than 3 times the width. So I'm thinking I need to use a variable here. Okay, we're talking length and width, but I only want one variable. So I'm going to use L for length, W for width. And I know that the relationship between length and width is that length is equal to 13 more than 3 times the width. So 3 times the width and 13 more. Give me that expression. Okay, multiply length times width to get area. So the length is just this L equals 3W plus 13. So I'm going to substitute 3W plus 13 in for L. I'm going to keep W for width, and that equals 10. Okay, so now, remember when you're solving a polynomial, your first step is to make sure your expression equals 0, so that then you can factor the expression. So I'm going to distribute the W, so I'm going to get 3W squared plus 13W, and I'm going to subtract the 10 from this side over to this side, so that's going to be minus 10. Okay, my last step is to do exactly what we were just doing. I'm going to factor this expression. So I've got 3W squared, that means 3W and W have to be used. I've got negative 10 at the end, it means I need to either multiply negative 5 and positive 2, or negative 10 and 1. One has to be negative and one has to be positive. So again, it's a little bit of a guessing game. So I'm going to use positive 5 here. That's going to give me 15W. And then if I use negative 2 here, that's going to give me negative 2W. 15W minus 2W would give me the positive 13W. Now that I've done that, I can now solve. So I'm just going to set each factored expression, 3W minus 2 equal to 0. And I'm going to set W plus 5 equal to 0. If I solve those, get W equals negative 5. Add 2 to both sides and divide by 3. I get W equals 2/3. So my two solutions are negative 5 and 2/3. Well, can I have a width of negative 5? No. So my only option, my best option would be choice A, 2/3 meters. Your assignment is page 596, numbers 5 through 17 odds, 22, 27 through 39 odds, 40, 46, 56, and 60. And I gave you odds on a lot of the problems so that hopefully you can check your answers and see how you did.